This week on Angelo's Workbench, the AMT 1997 Mustang Cobra gets an interior. I hope you'll stick around. Hey everybody, it's Angelo with Angelo's Workbench. Don't forget to check out in the video description, there is a link to Hobbynut Models, one of the new sponsors of Angelo's Workbench. Feel free to go on and follow that link, make any purchases. Any purchases you do make will be supporting Hobbynut Models and my channel. Don't forget to check them out. They have tons of great product. They've got new paints, they've got kits, lots of fun things to see there. So go ahead down in the description, follow that link, and check them out. And we're going to finish up the interior here now on the 97 Mustang. And I got to see, I'd say I just saw one of these the other day on the road. It was kind of a nice day. You know, spring, everybody's getting their toys out. And I saw one of these the other day in red. And boy, it's a great looking car. And he had some aftermarket exhaust kind of stuff going on with it and everything. And it sounded really good. And it just reminded me of, you know, the warm weather is coming. So these pieces are all kind of interdependent on one another. The door panels mount into here and onto here. And I'm just kind of trying to decide an order that they want to go in. It looks like the back seat might want to go first. They have you doing, in the instructions, they have you doing the one door panel and then the back. And then most likely the other door panel and then finally the dashboard. So I'm going to do what they did. I'm going to put this in, and then I'm going to put that in, and we're going to see how it goes. So I don't want to make a huge mess with glue here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can rest these pieces in place, and then go in with a little Tamiya extra thin. And yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to be cooperative, and some of the reason might be my firewall wiggles a little. You can see here that it's not fully set in place because it doesn't want to glue. Hey, look at that. Okay. So let's do this. Let's go in with a little Tamiya extra thin now. Specifically along here. And along the bottom, but after. I want to do back here first. And I knew that was going to happen. So let's see what happens if I kind of... Everything with this kit is just a little bit fiddly. It's not a modern kit by any standards. So you just have to kind of work with it a little bit. And I think that this will get a lot easier once this other side is in and is supporting the other side of this rear seat, rear package shelf here, because this has a nice little attachment point there that works. And the extra thin is great for this. You just kind of drop it in and the capillary action pulls the glue in, and then it simultaneously kind of removes a little paint if you didn't remove the paint, which I didn't. And it'll bring out a little bit of the plastic and it'll all stick together, hopefully. That's my plan. But the biggest thing is going to be to get them set and then stop touching them, right? Because that's the thing. As soon as you say, oh, I'm going to adjust it just one more time, and then they all fall apart. That's just the way it goes. So I need to slide these more forward or the firewall more backward, one or the other. And these are starting to stick back here, which is a good thing. And that looks pretty good. It's not done by any stretch of the imagination. But I've got a good bond back here on this package shelf. It's setting up nice. And everything is in approximately the right location. So we're going to stop right there. We're going to leave that be for now. And I'm going to set this aside so that it can dry a little bit. And we will do some work on some seat belts. And I will be right back for that. So I'm not going to go crazy with seatbelts here. You know, I don't want to use any of my photo etched buckles that I've got in my stash. I don't want to make it look like there's real seatbelts in the car. It's just that there's this thing on the seat, right? The seatbelt holder. And there's no belts or preparation for any belts or anything in the kit. So what I want to do is I just want to come up with my own little cheesy little belt solution just to make it look like there's some belts. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting a piece of yellow masking tape. And this is what I use for belts more often than not. And then you use like a colored Sharpie or even paint if you needed to airbrush the tape, a very light color, to make a seatbelt in whatever color the interior is. So this car would have had the seatbelts in this brown shade. And I was thinking about just to have them black for a contrast. So what I've done is I've just cut a little strip of masking tape. And if you leave it sticky, it kind of helps you kind of place it. So what I want to do is I want to have it start like here. And I'm just doing a test right now. I can always cut another strip of tape. I just want it to kind of, you know how when they're not deployed, they just kind of hang to the side. And then they usually have the belt clip and whatnot. And it would usually be attached to like a thing on the A-pillar. But I'm just going to attach to the back of the seat here. And then just have that come down like that. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do. So I'm happy with that look right there. And so now I've got to decide, like, do I think a black belt would be good? I think a black belt would be good because it would kind of contrast the seat color. Show that it's there. If I do it in the seat color, it's going to disappear. And then it kind of goes along with there's black on the dash and there's black in the rear package shelf. So there are black pieces inside the car. So I'm just going to, at this point, I'm just going to break out the Sharpie marker. And this is the wide chisel tip, because then I can just go like this right down the tape. And I don't mind getting a little Sharpie on the work surface. You know, that's what these cutting mats are for, right? So we don't damage our tables. Though, truth be told, this is like a folding table that has been my modeling table for eons. I think since dinosaurs roamed the earth. And has all kinds of stuff all over it, so I don't really care. But the cutting mat makes a nice surface to work on. So that's why I use the cutting surface. So now I've and I have plenty here for both seats. So I'm just going to kind of give a little slice here. And then I want the ends to be nice and square. I don't want them to be like where the tape got ripped off. So now I've got this piece of black tape now. And you could use electrical tape for this. I've seen guys do that. But, you know, for my purposes here, I'm good with the masking tape. And then I'm just going to go around here. And then cutting it to length doesn't really matter because I can just go under the seat. And there you have what looks like a belt. Kind of good enough. So that you don't just have this big empty thing hanging on the side of the seat. And then I'll just leave it like that and put it in the car. And that's that. And now, so the other thing with this belt is the same exact thing. You know, I'll just kind of put a little piece here. And I'll go up through the loop. Because they put this big loop on this seat. I mean, it'd be silly to not have a belt in it. I mean, it's just going to look dumb just sitting there. So there we go. And now I've got a couple of seat belts, just real quick and easy, nothing complex. And it looks the part. And the other thing is, you know, once it's in the car, it's harder to see in the car. So there's our seat belts. So now we'll move forward with more interior assembly and get these in the car. And we're continuing our interior assembly portion here. And what we're going to do now is basically we're just going to get the steering wheel and the steering column and the center console into the car, as well as the seats. So, here we go. The steering column has a big square that kind of mounts. And then the wheel also has a big square. It's kind of a little interesting. Usually they're like pins and holes, but on this kit they are squares. And interestingly enough, there is also a little tiny dot on the side of the steering column for where you put the key, which I thought was kind of cool. This is the age before push-button start cars. It's kind of funny. I teach driving instruction, and the driver car is it's a Camry. There's a sea of Camrys. We have a bunch of Camrys, the school that I work for. And this is just one of my little side hustles that I do. I like working with the kids. I like teaching them how to drive. And the car has a key, and so many of the kids are completely befuddled by the key. Their parents have always had push-button start cars, and they learning in push-button start cars, so they're completely at a loss when they see a key. It's kind of funny. But they would also be at a loss when they saw 3 pedals and a stick in the middle, truth be told. So now we're just going to kind of put this dashboard in. There are 2 little areas on the side of each door where the dashboard goes. And so I'm going to just prepare to drop this into that mounting location, which is right there. That went in nice and easily. And I think I might need a clamp on this back corner because it's not cooperating, to say the least. But we'll see after we get this, after we get the rest of this in and together, how it goes. So now we'll just prepare this center console, and then we'll drop the seats in, and then this will be good to go. So we'll just put a little dab of glue there. And now we're going to just put the shifter in. I always remember thinking that the shifters in these cars and the Mustangs looked kind of funky. They were kind of like long and over to the side, and they just looked a little weird. And then the center console just kind of drops into place there and does make contact with the dashboard. So you do have a glue point there where you could put some glue to hold it to the dashboard. And the rest of it, I'm not inclined to worry about because I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Really, I just need something to hold it in place a little bit, just like that. And once the glue sets up, that whole thing isn't going to move. That looks good. I'm liking it. So we'll drop our seats in now. And they have nice... I don't know what you would call it, like it's almost like a seat rail that just realized the brim of my hat is probably blocking the camera. I hope I didn't block the whole thing. The nice little seat risers here for the seats. And truth be told, I probably should have done these first, but we'll get them in there. There's plenty of room to work. There we go. Wow, that looks really good. That reminds me of the Mustang of the era. It's a good representation. And this right here is just kind of giving me a little bit of a hard time, so I'm going to put a little bit of that glue in there. And I'm going to set up a little clamp on there. Let that cure. But I can do that off camera. So there is the interior of the Mustang. And we are ready for the next step. That's going to wrap up this week's video number 4 in the AMT 1997 Mustang Cobra video series. Be sure you come on back next week where we are going to put the body on and go to final assembly. Don't forget to follow that link in that description to go check out Hobbynut Models. Also, like, share, comment, subscribe, and check me out on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, all under the name Angelo's Workbench. Thank you so very much. I look forward to seeing you all next week.